Thentic family. Today I am super excited because I get to talk to you about something so important. And you probably guessed it, it's our year 4 anniversary. November 20th, 2024. Amazing years ago, we launched this company with my wife and I that we were truly passionate about. And today I'm going to be talking to you about how, why we were able to get this far. Now, mind you, of course, I want to be much further in life and in business, but today is just a time that I just stop the moment in time and just tell you why and how we got here. But before I get into all of that, I'm going to tell you what I am most grateful for. Number one, my personal health. Of course, I've had this surgery and this migraine and that migraine, but at the end of the day, I am most grateful for my health because without my health, I cannot do the things that I want to do in my life. Second, most importantly, of course, my family, my beautiful wife and 2 daughters. I am grateful for their love. You can have all the riches, cars, houses in the world, but if you don't have someone running down the hallway to you when you get home or someone that loves you, then what's the point, right? What's the point? So that's just a question that I want you to think about as we go through this. Next, I want to talk about what it actually took to get here. Now, I want to start off by saying probably the most important thing is purpose, right? I got into pharmacy school because I wanted to save patients through medications, but I feel like my wife and I got into this because I want to save people from their excuses, provide better workouts, and make an overall healthy America, right? So that is my purpose, what has driven me to continue and not quit despite what challenges we have faced. And second, what got us here was the consistency. Too often, the number one thing lacking in most people's lives is consistency. Consistency in their relationships, consistency in their diet, consistency in their training. Because at the end of the day, it really just comes down to how consistent you are and discipline. Now, what does consistency mean? Depends who you ask, but for me, consistency means getting up every single day, 365, even on holidays, even on Sundays, even on Saturdays, whether it's waking up early to respond to customer emails, waking up early to prep your food, waking up early to hit the gym, waking up early to make that social media content. That to me is consistency, and it's mastering the monotony of the day. Too often over the last 4 years, things have become just so routine to me, and sometimes I just think that I'm just going through the motions. But I know at the end of the day, on the other side of that, one day this is all going to come to fruition. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is, well, get ready for it because I get this question every single day. So what's the hardest thing about owning your own business? What's the hardest thing about this? What's the hardest thing about that? But I'm going to give it to you real. And I just want to let you know that this is for me 4, 5, 6 years down the road. Everyone listening, I really appreciate you guys, but this is just me filming myself because I'm going to look back on this and just be like, wow, that was really that hard. But anyways, the hardest thing about business, aside from, here we go, people not being able to text me back to save their life, not having a physical location, the finances, not having any investors, people never getting back to me, having to follow up 100 times. I would say that the hardest thing is just the time. The time and the patience, letting your work bake. That has just been the hardest time because when we launched, I just thought everyone and their mom would support us. But as time grew on, we started to realize that, certain aspects or certain places just weren't a fit. And I'm just gonna get my feelings for a little bit. Honestly, I just can't pinpoint what happened, because, for example, sometimes we used to go to some places and it was really good demos and people loved our stuff. But then as the months passed, we stopped going to those locations for whatever reason. I don't know. That kind of hurt. People not getting back to me when I'm pouring everything into this company, and they just can't even get a text back. That's kind of hard. But at the end of the day, I would say that time and patience has been the hardest thing because no matter how much work you put in, no matter how many phone calls you make, how many emails, time has to pass for your success to matriculate. And I feel like a lot of people get into business or they start something and then after 3 years they don't see the results, and then they just go to the next thing. This happens a lot of times with people in their job. If I'm talking to you and the shoe fits, so be it. But some people will switch around their job every 3 years because they're not moving up as fast as they want to. So then they go from place to place to place every 3 years, and 12 years of your life has passed, and now you're in the same spot thinking, what happened to my life? When in reality, if you just would have stuck somewhere for that 12 years, you would be CEO of the company, right? May that as it be. Who cares if it doesn't happen? But you know what I'm saying. And so I just feel like being patient enough and knowing that it's going to take time has had a huge impact on us just staying the course. And that's how we were able to get here and be able to present before you today at our 4-year mark. Over these last 4 years, there has been a lot of lessons that I personally have learned about myself and life. The first thing that pops up to me in particular is not blaming yourself for other people's shortcomings or their inability to follow through. I could list probably 100 different examples of this, but one of them was where we went and did a demo at this one location, and this one guy came up to our table. He's just like, hey man, like I want to be all about it, like show me more. I had never met this person, and they wanted to be an athlete and all this and promote our stuff. And I was just so excited, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like, let's do this. And then I was telling my wife and Rob, and they were just like, yeah, I don't really know about this, but I was just so overwhelmed by this person's support that I ended up driving back down to this place about an hour away from our house, meeting this person and being like, okay, these are the programs that we offer. This is what we like to do. Gave them all this free stuff. And then literally 60 days later, this person hits me up and they're just like, hey, I'm going through some things, I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. And I just thought to myself, I'm just like, why did this person waste my time? Like, I am trying to build the next biggest brand, and I literally do not have time for this. Like, I know everyone else has their things going on in their life. Trust me, I do too. I'm not perfect by any means, and I have things going on in my life as well. But at the end of the day, I guess I blame myself for that person's shortcomings, even though I couldn't control what was going on in their life. I blamed it on me as a mistake of not being able to choose the right people. And this happened with an array of different people, whether it was them doing demos for us or promoting our stuff. At the end of the day, I just always blamed myself for their shortcomings. But now I've realized, like, I can't control what's going on in their life. Therefore, I should have no responsibility for anything else that is affecting them, that in turn, they aren't able to do what they said that they have done. That's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the last 4 years. And I can go on days and days talking about it. The next biggest lesson that I have learned is your customers dictate your product line. Now, when we first launched, everybody wanted the pre-workout, right? So we came out with a pre-workout. The next one was a recovery. Now, in all honesty, it was not the best tasting. I'll just be real, but being naturally flavored and sweetened without the sucralose, aspartame, and acetylsulfame, it's a lot harder than just throwing a bunch of ingredients together and putting artificial sweeteners in there. Am I right or am I right? And so now that we're 4 years into it, I have finally started reaching out to consumers, people that buy and use the product. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been reaching out to them saying, hey, what is the next product that you want? And overwhelmingly, everyone has said these 3 things: more pre-workout flavors, a grains powder, or creatine, right? So those 3 things is what we have to work with, which is what, well, you'll see here in a little bit. But that is what we have taken to heart, and that is what we are trying to formulate ASAP, no rocky. The thing about it is, get self-funded. Self-funded, no outside investors. If we had outside investors, it'd be a whole different story, right? Obviously, I'm kind of bitter about it, but at the end of the day, there is literally no stopping somebody that is willing to die on their own sword and bootstrap something from the ground up. So, just to recap, first 2 biggest lessons is not blaming yourself for everybody else's shortcomings, listening to your consumers, and third, last but certainly not least, and something that people really fail to realize is at the end of the day, it's just you, right? 1,000 may fall to your left and 1,000 may fall at your right, but at the end of the day, it is just you. If you want something to succeed, it is on you. I was in the car a couple months ago, talking with somebody, and they were just like, I basically was talking about, the business, and if this doesn't take off and if we don't blow up in, 5 to 10 years, then I failed. And this person was like, you and your big old ego. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So because I personally am taking ownership for our failure if we fail, that somehow has to do with my ego. No. You are tripping, sir. That is 100 complete ownership, because every time shit goes awry, everybody else wants to point the finger. But in Thentic standpoint, if we do not succeed, and I mean succeed on a major scale within the next 5 to 10 years, all things considered, if there's not some world disaster, power grid goes out, whatever, it's my fault. I didn't do what I was supposed to do to get us to the next level. Now, I appreciate everyone's support and help, obviously, because without you, we would not be here. But at the end of the day, a lot of people fail to realize that in business and in life, it is just you. People want to talk about who the president is and all these things that they're going to fix, but they can't fix what food you put into your mouth. They can't fix how many times you exercise. They can't fix how many minutes you spend with your family. So I just want everyone to realize that the most important thing in life and in business and how we got this far is, at the end of the day, while you do have a major, hopefully, support system and supporting cast, it comes down to just your ability to execute on a day in and day out basis. Now, if you've made it thus far in the video, I just wanted to say, thank you guys so much. Getting to 4 years is it's been crazy, because most people's relationships haven't even lasted 4 years. People sometimes haven't even stuck at a company for 4 years. So I just wanted to say thank you for all your support. Oh, this is crazy. Thank you for all your support, all of your shares, likes, comments, and it's because of you we were able to get here. I love y'all, and we're just going to keep climbing. It's all about living authentic every single day, practice what you preach, and keep the promises you make to yourself, and this world, it'll be a better place. And let's get it, baby. Happy 4 years.